Hello YouTube. Today's video presentation is going to cover the color fast testing of the Scarlet Red from Rit Dye. As you may recall in the previous episode, we did have Scarlet Red tested on a towel dowel. This is the finished product. It is sort of a light, very light reddish color. And this is the cherry red, which is going to be the second or maybe even a third layer. Now, this gives you also a good example of why you want to have a smooth surface, because you will have little patches like this that may not necessarily get covered up, as well as over here on the Scarlet Red patch. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and just wanted to demonstrate what the outcome of that was. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is put the first coat, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now, in this case, because the Scarlet Red was not actually watered down, I'm going to go ahead and use it straight. Again, this is going to serve as my base coat for the product to be applied on. So I am wearing gloves, a glove rather, and I'm going to go ahead and put the camera down so you can see as I'm placing the product, the actual finish on here. Now, because this is water-based, you will notice that it does sort of bubble up because of the fact that it is water-based, whereas oil-based stain will go right into the wood grain a lot faster. But again, that is done a little bit differently. The same idea. The only thing is again, water and oils do not mix at all. If you're going to add in kind of dye like the Rit, what you're going to need to do is basically use it in powder form and reduce it in conjunction, or really break it down, not necessarily reduce it, with the use of acetone. And then if you're going to mix it with something like polyurethane, or you're just going to have your own stain and then use polyurethane as a top coat to seal it in, then you could do it that way as well. Okay, so that's a good example of how we would do this in this way. But again, it is going to be a motion where you basically have to rub it in as best as possible. Now again, it's not necessarily going to happen in one pass. Now, if that's what you want to accomplish, is a very light one, and you're satisfactory results with that for yourself, then so be it. But again, I'm going to be using True Oil. So with True Oil, it has a tendency to darken the lighter colors. But again, I'm going to use a two-tone to try to get a little bit of a varied result. My objective again is to try to show the natural beauty of the wood grain, similar to the wood stained rifle stock that I did for my friend's Ishef's rifle a couple of months ago. Okay, you can always take a look at that on my channel, and I'll try to post the link to match that up. But as you can see here, it is taking a little bit of an effort to get it to start absorbing, but it's not that it won't. It will. Okay. Now with this will also still raise the grain on the wood. So I'm going to put a couple of coats down of the dye, then come back and resand it with 400 grit for any raised grain in the wood, and then allow, of course, in between the drying applications, once it dries, and I'll come back and I'll mention when I've actually done that so you can see. But for the most part, the wood is taking it, the stain, and I am using it straight. It is not watered down, it's not reduced, it's nothing. This is straight product that I'm going to use for this application. Now, I did read on one of the forums that they were saying that somebody had put like 4 coats of the product, and then they turned around and put some polyurethane to seal on the project that they had. It was on the AK forums, and the end result for them turned out to be a very nice red, which I thought was very impressive. And then somebody else had used scarlet and kind of came out fuchsia-like. So again, take into account that the color of the wood is going to come into play. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the stock here so you can see. But you can see how at first it's like it does not want to take But once you start rubbing it in and you start working it, it will start absorbing by force. And again, you are creating a sense of friction with the stain. And according to RIT, their product likes heat, so that's kind of food for thought. Again, I could have actually heated this up, but I did not have decided I didn't want to use too much of the product to try to do a little bit of control to see how the wood would react. I don't want to overstain it because, again, I have my objectives as to what I want to accomplish, and I just simply want to share that with the YouTube audience. Okay. Some areas like this area right here in the grip surface did not necessarily clear up very much, and there was apparently I suspected there were some cartouche markings that weren't coming out, but needless to say, there was really nothing there. It was just like somebody had scribbled here, and I'm not sure if they did it for the purposes of trying to provide a better surface area for traction, for gripping, so to speak. I know it's not a tire, but essentially just better ability to hold the weapon. And now I do have this suspended from a board. I do have the end cap actually facing up, as you can see there, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it down. You try to want to, with this, you do want to work in long strokes, but again, we're having a little bit of difficulty in it trying to absorb the color, so you do want to kind of run it several passes so it can stain. Again, this is the purpose of this is to put a base coat down to try to get this to stain, and as part of a two-tone process that I wanted to do. Now right now it is nice and bright red, which is nice, but again, RIT will eventually lighten up with the drying process, and that's perfectly normal. So while at first it may be very bright like we're seeing it now, be prepared, as we had seen in the dowel, that it will turn out lighter. Okay, and I cannot emphasize that enough because I know some people just have no patience for things. Now with RIT, you can actually use a what do you call it? A hair dryer, though, and I'm going to go ahead and change swabs. And with the hair dryer, it'll help speed up the process. You just don't want to end up overheating the wood in that sense, because again, you're trying to get this to dry and absorb into the stock and into the grain, primarily, is our objective here. Okay, to get the results that you're looking for. This is time consuming. Again, there is a lot of patience involved with doing something like this. You cannot hurry this project up. If you want to do it a lot quicker, you could have done it with oil stains. But with water base, it does take a little bit more time. As far as for those that may be interested in doing something water-based, just remember that if you're going to use other than true oil, you can use a final coat of polyurethane. Actually, it's not polyurethane. It would actually be a product that Minwax calls the, if I recall correctly, it's aqua urethane, something along those lines. It's made by Minwax, and very nice product from what I've heard. I have not worked with that product, but it'll get you some results. I'm gonna go ahead and end this segment, and I'll come back once the stock has been dried, so you can see the progression of this. Again, this is going to be an ongoing multi-part series, so I am sharing this process with you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your subscriptions, and I hope you're enjoying the presentations. Have a great day.